From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Woodard. Daryl Clark has the evening off. Our top story, a Fairbanks man is in custody after a high-speed chase turned into a standoff early this morning. 22-year-old Jonathan Pitts is facing charges of failure to stop and reckless driving after troopers say he was driving at, quote, reckless speeds down the Richardson Highway. Troopers attempted to contact Pitts near mile 353, but he reportedly continued to flee at high rates of speed. Now, eventually, Pitts rolled his vehicle in a ditch on the highway. He reportedly indicated he wouldn't surrender and told troopers he was armed with knives. Troopers and North Pole Police then set up a perimeter around the vehicle that was turned on its side. Now, after nearly 30 minutes, troopers used a beanbag shot from a shotgun to break out the window of the vehicle, and Pitts surrendered. No one was injured during the standoff, but traffic was backed up for over an hour.
This morning, state troopers conducted a traffic stop in the vicinity of Richardson Highway and Old Richardson Highway. The suspect failed to stop. He rolled his vehicle over in the vicinity of Old Richardson and Richardson Highway. There was a brief standoff. We now have him in custody. The investigation is still pending.
Pitts is in custody at Fairbanks Correctional Center and will be arraigned in Fairbanks District Court in the next few days. Trial has been delayed for a Fairbanks woman accused of murdering her toddler son in late 2013. 25-year-old Amberlyn Swanson is facing 3 felony charges in connection to the murder of the 18-month-old boy. The trial, originally scheduled to begin next month, was delayed due to evidentiary issues in the case. Authorities say the boy died of blunt force trauma to the head and was covered in thermal burns and bruises. Defense attorneys for Swanson are seeking to have a polygraph exam entered into evidence. They say Swanson passed the test, something that could help to prove her innocence. The defense has also asked that records be admitted that could implicate another person was responsible for the death of the toddler. That person, according to her lawyers, was her then boyfriend. Trial for her case is now set for March 2016. A new development in the case of the 4 men convicted of killing 15-year-old John Hartman in Fairbanks in 1997. Jason Wallace, who is in prison for an unrelated murder, is asking the state Supreme Court to order that a statement he made to a public defender in 2002 about the Hartman case be kept confidential under attorney-client privilege rules. Attorneys for the so-called Fairbanks 4 say Wallace's statements could prove the 4 were not guilty. The men convicted of killing Hartman are George Freese, Marvin Roberts, Kevin Pease, and Eugene Vent. Now, they claim they did not murder Hartman, and the Alaska Innocence Project is working to prove it. Fairbanks police and fire units responded to a traffic accident this morning. It was reported just before 11 at the intersection of Pegger Road and the Mitchell Expressway. Fairbanks Police Lieutenant Dan Wellborn says one of the vehicles ran into the rear of the other. He said a woman in one of the vehicles complained of back pain and was transported to the hospital by ambulance to be checked out. Investigation is continuing to see if any citations will be issued. With the end of the fair comes the beginning of the school year for kids and parents. The Fairbanks North Star Borough School District has made some updates to its website just in time for the start of the school year this week. Wednesday is the first day of school for most students in the district except for returning high school students. Their first day back is Thursday. Public Relations Director Sharice Walker says parents can go to k12northstar.org to find back-to-school supply lists for all students. They also can find an interactive school year calendar for events happening district-wide. Walker says parents will be able to check grades, attendance, and more as the school year progresses by logging onto their PowerSchool account. Kids and their guardians should have access to the online database. Guardians that have used PowerSchool before can reuse their accounts from the last academic school year. Those that have not received a PowerSchool login can get more information by contacting their child's schools.
So we have online capability for people to look up bus routes. We also have on the app late bus notification, which is definitely going to come in handy, especially as we get into winter time. So we'd encourage families to download the district's mobile app, which is available on Google Play and in the App Store. And then you can look up your students' bus route, get that programmed in, and stay on top of that.
All right, when we come back, Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan says it is an important step to keep a sufficient amount of troops in Alaska as Russia is becoming more active in the Arctic. Also, there was a fire in one of the buildings at the local landfill on Saturday. We'll tell you how much damage was done when we return with these stories and more after the break. Welcome back. U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan says the Russians are looking to militarize the Arctic, making it all the more important for the U.S. to have a broad Arctic strategy that includes having sufficient troops based in Alaska. Sullivan says that's why he's been critical of the proposed troop reductions in Alaska as part of a cost-saving plan announced by the Army this summer. His office said Sullivan got included in the Senate version of a defense spending bill with provisions to require the U.S. Secretary of Defense to detail a military strategy for the Arctic. Sullivan said the Russians are working on a major presence in the Arctic region and conducting training there.
You've probably seen this map that has new airfields, 11 new airfields, 40 Arctic icebreakers, some nuclear powered. The U.S. has these forces here. That's it. This recent decision, we're going to remove a key capability of these, and we have this as our strategy. This was the 2013 DoD Arctic strategy, mentions climate change 5 times, and in a footnote mentions Russia.
All was quiet Saturday night at the Fairbanks Fire Department until 3 a.m. when the fire alarm went off. Firemen were there directed to a building at the Fairbanks North Star Borough landfill. Now, when the engines arrived, they found a building heavily involved in smoke and flames. The blaze was quickly extinguished, but extensive damage was done to a variety of heavy equipment and machines, including 2 front-end loaders, a bulldozer, and a compactor. Now the process begins of assessing the damage.
Yeah, the building pretty bad, and the equipment, I guess we're kind of in assessment mode still. So working with the other departments in the borough and insurance company, and we have a contractor that's coming in, and we're starting to make sure the building is safe, and then start cleaning up, and then we'll be able to pull the equipment out and have contractor take a look at those and kind of do an assessment on what's salvageable from the equipment.
Yesterday was the last day for people to enjoy the Tanana Valley State Fair. We sent in reporter Ryan Grimes to ask those going what they thought of the event this year. Some people enjoyed the fair just the same as past years, but the consensus is that it could have been better.
Sunday was the last day of the Tanana Valley State Fair. The fairgrounds were not too crowded that day, with plenty of parking spots and vacant tables for those who decided to go. Andy Buck says his experience at the fair has been okay.
It's all right. It's not as good as it's been in the past few years. Not as many rides, but, you know, not as whole lot of food vendors, but it's still okay.
It's been 2 years since Golden Wheel Amusements took their rides away from the fair and placed them into the Golden Wheel Summer Spectacular Carnival. Now, A1 Midway is providing the bulk of the rides for the fair. Despite a few new rides offered by A1, some people say they are disappointed by the entertainment this year.
Like the big carnival wheel, that's gone. The Ferris wheel, that all the classics like the Gravitron and the Twister and all the other mini games that you can do, most of them are gone, it seems. And there's just not as much really to do. There's still a lot, but it's mostly just about the food now.
These rides are rustier.
Boringer.
More boring, yeah.
More boring.
I feel like it is a little less because the basketball thing's not here. That's where I usually spend all my money on. So I'm kind of glad now because I don't have to spend that much money on the basketball game, but it's all right.
Younger kids are still enjoying the fair despite the criticisms.
It's been pretty cool. My favorite part was the Star Trooper.
Why is that?
Because it goes really fast and the golden circle's pretty fun.
I like the rides, and I get cotton candy.
Sean Kinsey says there are some redeeming factors to the small amount of people that came to the fairgrounds on Sunday.
I think it's kind of better. It's not as crowded as it was last year. Like last year it was real crowded and everything was real bunched together, but now it's real spread out so you have room to walk and stuff.
This is Ryan Grimes reporting.
All right, Joe Cook is up next and has the weekend recap in sports, which includes the aftermath of the first week of the high school football and some demolition derby action. All that and more with Joe Cook after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your weekend recap in local sports. Just in case you missed it, here's a brief recap of the opening weekend of high school football before we go to the latest polls. On Saturday, the Monroe Rams, they got some payback against the Seward Seahawks. Last season, Seward blew out Monroe 56-0. This time, the Rams beat the Seahawks 20-8 in the first game of the season. The defense forced 6 turnovers. In Monroe, they ran for 322 yards in 3 scores. How about that? Now, Friday night, Allison dismantled Thunder Mountain 43-0. The Ravens defense was a problem for the Falcons, holding them to 160 yards of offense and no scores. Caleb Dunlap, he led the Ravens with 3 touchdowns and 125 yards on the ground. And Torian Griffith, he added 171 yards of total offense and 2 scores. Allison has now won 10 straight games since last season. After North Pole's 54-8 blowout win over Ketchikan, West Valley was the only interior team to take an L on opening night. West Anchorage won 45-15, but Joshua Cummings, he did have 175 yards rushing in the score for the Wolfpack. So opening week of high school football is in the books, and here's the week 1 ASBN football poll. Bartlett is the new #1 in the Large Schools poll. Lathrop is still #2 after their bye week. They will play at Palmer this weekend. Service is 3rd, West Anchorage is 4th, and Diamond rounds out the top 5. In the medium and small school poll, the state record for 30 straight wins goes to the Sohai Stars and the #1 ranking. Palmer is ranked #2 and will host the Malamutes. North Pole comes in at 3rd. They have a short week facing Juneau Douglas on Wednesday. Allison is ranked 4th, and they will travel to Homer this weekend. In Juneau, they round out the top 5 in the medium and small schools poll. While football players were running on the field, others ran on interior trails. One race ended in a tie. The Granite Tours Trail Run had a tie for the women's title as Davia Flaherty and Laura Johnson both finished in 3 hours, 1 minute, 42 seconds. Nikki Potter, she came in at 3:02:29. Devin McDowell, he claimed the men's title with a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes and 13 seconds, while Dan Hickstein took 2nd place just 2 minutes later. The Alaska Statehood Run, Andrew Hayes finished first with a time of 19:04 to lead a field of 59 runners. Christian Blankenship was the runner-up in 20 minutes, 12 seconds. Kaylee Mills took the women's title and was 3rd overall in 21:21. Michelle Nance and Karen Harris were 5th and 7th. High school cross-country runners got a taste of the season with the West Valley Invite. Saturday, runners came out to the Westridge Trails up on the hill at UAF for a preseason 3.2 km run. Freshmen ran first, then varsity girls and boys followed. There were no official times recorded as returners and newcomers get back in shape and see where they are. Ty Donaldson, though, he just beat out teammate Aaron Bravo of West Valley for 1st place. Donaldson, he finished in 10:50, while Bravo was just 7 seconds behind. Keel Simon, he took 3rd in 11:06. West Valley soccer player Grace Marks, who ran unattached, led the girls' field with a time of 13:26. Brooke Gottmeyer took 2nd in 13:32, while Bailey Rose, she rounds out the top 3 with a time of 14:13. The first official all-schools meet of this season will be this Friday at the Chena Lakes Recreation Area, hosted by North Pole High School. And we all have been there. Have you ever shook your fist or screamed after someone cuts you off on the freeway or fails to signal? Well, Saturday at the Mitchell Raceway, a ton of people were able to live vicariously through raging drivers in the 11th Fairbanks Demolition Derby. And now you can too. Here's some highlights. There were wrecks and car crashing carnage everywhere. See that there? As 27 cars competed for a $10,000 purse. $4,000 went to the 1st place winner and $2K for the runner-up. There were 3 heats of cars with the top 3 left advancing. It wasn't all about letting out that road rage either. 51 bicycles were given away to kids in attendance as part of the Safe Kids program, but that isn't safe there. But the little ones may have been safe if they got in a truck with Fred Sayer driving the I Ate Him truck. He was the last truck standing, and then nine trucks competing in that division. And we close out tonight with a historic moment in the NFL. Saturday, before the Kansas City Chiefs and Arizona Cardinals played their preseason game, Sarah Thomas and Jen Welter met on the field. Thomas is the NFL's first woman to be a full-time on-field official, and Welter is the first woman to coach in the NFL. She is the intern linebackers coach for the Cardinals this preseason. Thomas was the sideline judge for the game. Hearing from the coach there. Also, during the same game, 26-year-old Chiefs safety Eric Berry made a triumphant return to football after winning his battle over Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a type of cancer. Great day for those individuals and for football indeed. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Will it rain tomorrow? Find out next after the break with Mike Schultz, who has your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into a Fairbanks Evening News Monday edition. This is Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather. And it was one of those 50-50 weekends where you had beautiful weather on Saturday, but Saturday night the rain clouds moved in and kind of a cloudy and dreary day yesterday, but it turned out pretty good. Today we weren't too bad off, looking at more rain in the forecast though. Our photograph tonight, a very nice one sent in by Janelle Hedgecock. Creamer's Barn. You can see the fireweed in the foreground and then the background, there's the barn itself. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos at ktvf11.com. Your numbers look like this. Right now, the high today, 70 degrees so far. The overnight low, 47. The record high was 82 in 2007. The record low, chilly 28 in 1943. Sunrise and sunset, 16 hours and 20 minutes of daylight. That's a loss of 7 minutes from yesterday. On our satellite and radar, lots of moisture down south of the Alaska Range. Big, strong jet stream helping to transport all that moisture down around the Anchorage Bowl and the Prince William Sound. Some of it spilling over into the Fairbanks area. In fact, our latest satellite and radar, you can zoom in with the radar and show you around the Fairbanks area. The clouds are starting to thicken up a little bit more. We are getting some patchy showers, even some thunderstorms off in the distance to the east of us, but looks like most of that is starting to dwindle out, and we're looking at still a possibility of rain overnight. Now, the forecast, or actually the map today for Alaska showed rain all over southeast Alaska, and of course it was raining down around the Anchorage Bowl, Kodiak at 60 degrees, lots of sunshine there. Along the Aleutian chain, cloudy skies at Cold Bay, 53. Bethel and Nome looking pretty good. Cleared apart to cloudy skies, 57 at Bethel, 55 at Nome. North of the Brooks Range, chilly, 39 degrees at Barrow. And Fort Yukon, lots of sunshine and 64. Lower 48 weather, well, the hot temperatures continue over the western half of the country. Again, very, very hot over the Las Vegas and Phoenix areas. Not too bad around San Francisco, a little warmer in Seattle. 81 degrees there. Only 80 degrees at Denver, not too bad. Salt Lake City, 91. Showers and rain moving across the Central Plains. Another hot day in Dallas, 98 degrees over the eastern half of the country. Still very, very hot. 96 degrees at Washington, D.C., New York, 93. And down across the east and southeastern sections, widespread showers and thunderstorms. That shows up on the satellite and radar. Big mass of moisture moving across the deep south and across the Midwest. And over the southwest, skies are clearing out as high pressure builds in and brings even warmer temperatures in. The overall outlook for tonight and tomorrow is calling for very deteriorating conditions with severe thunderstorms possible from Rapid City right on down to Colorado Springs, isolated tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail. And the jet stream will remain well to the north, taking a little bit of dip across the Great Lakes, bringing some cooler air there, but the rest of the country will be hot, humid, and again, showers and thunderstorms. Back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. For the northern sections, cloudy skies in Barrow, showery periods for both Nome and Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, looking at widespread, partly cloudy to maybe some scattered showers or thunderstorms in the picture. Over your southeast Alaska, the rain will continue. Heavy rain in Juneau with periods of rain for Ketchikan. While here, actually over the southwest part of the state, we're looking at partly cloudy skies at Cold Bay, showers in Bethel, and sunny skies for Kodiak. And down around the Anchorage Bowl, they're not going to escape the rain there either. It looks like showers likely for Anchorage and Homer, and rain will be falling in the Valdez area. Our forecast for the remainder of the night looks like this. Increasing clouds with rain developing overnight, 52 degrees. Tomorrow's forecast calling for rain showers and isolated thunderstorms, a pretty good bet, 60 degrees. And the extended forecast, look at the 5-day period. Temperatures pretty consistent, 60 degrees for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, showers across the 5-day period. That'll be kind of ugly. Overnight lows will also be very consistent right around the 45-degree mark. And the rain is here to stay, Joe. I know you weren't looking too forward to that because you got football games to cover, right?
Actually, not really. All the teams will be away this week.
Oh, that works out good.
It's okay. Right. There'll be some more, local events going on. Off the top of my head, I can't recall them right now, but hopefully the rain won't be too bad. I thought it was going to just rain tomorrow, but
do you have any more softball?
No, we are done with softball.
Oh, okay.
How'd you guys finish?
We finished well.
We
did not win the state
tournament,
but we had fun.
You had fun, that's all.
Yes.
That's important.
Mike, are we going to see any, higher temperatures, or is this it?
This is the point of no return.
Is this the point of? We've maxed out.
It's starting to go down now.
Oh man.
No.
It's the normal average temperature this time of year starts to.
You know what? Let's be happy. It's time to ski. It's time to get you down
don't
the
get
hill.
that far away.
let's pump our brakes here. Let's
no white stuff. Not yet. Not for a long time.
Not go crazy here.
We're going to have to start a pool. All right. Well, thank you, Mike. That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you join us.
Right. And coming up next tonight on the Nightly News, well, a lot of fires burning across California, and close to 100 homes have been destroyed, and there's no relief in sight. That's up next with Lester Holt.
Stephanie's rolling the prompter. Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at western11.com.
That's why I was laughing, because I'm not very good at it. All right, from all of us here at the News Center. Oops, I scrolled past it. No, I'm kidding.
We've got it all memorized.
Have a good night.